Okay, so most of us think we know the book of Proverbs, but what if we've been reading it all wrong? Let's explore an idea that completely turns it on its head.
When most people think of Proverbs, they picture this jumbled mix of advice, right? A bunch of wise quotes you might find on a calendar. But what if it's something way more deliberate? What if there's actually a hidden roadmap inside, just waiting to be uncovered?
So the common view is, yeah, it's just a messy list of sayings. But according to scholar Dr. Kyle Dunham, there's a totally different way to look at it. He argues that Proverbs is actually a sophisticated training manual, a step-by-step curriculum designed to take an inexperienced kid and turn them into a wise leader.
So where does this all start? Well, this whole journey of wisdom, this curriculum, it begins in the most foundational place you can imagine, the home. Right here, in the first 9 chapters, the student is learning directly from their parents. And the lessons? They are super clear, very direct, and, intentionally black and white. It's all about preparing this young person for the threshold of adulthood and the complex world that's waiting for them.
And really, this whole first section boils down to one big choice. It's this epic showdown between lady wisdom and woman folly. They're not just ideas, they're personified as these two paths you can take in life. It's a simple, foundational decision that sets the stage for everything else. Okay, so once the student has got those foundational lessons down, it's time to leave the nest. They're stepping out into the wider world, and the curriculum, well, it evolves right along with them. We're moving from the basics to intermediate level wisdom.
And wow, does the training expand. It's not just about home life anymore. We see this progression, right, from the family, out into society, where you have to learn to hang out with the wise. And then, the final frontier, the royal court, the very center of power.
And you've got to figure, as the student's world gets bigger and more complicated, the lessons have to get more complex too, right? It's not about simple black and white rules anymore.
What's really cool is how you can see the teaching style shift. First, you get what are called antithetical proverbs. These are really simple contrasts, wise versus foolish, good versus bad. But then the curriculum levels up. It moves on to synthetic proverbs, which are way more nuanced, bringing in these bigger ideas about God's sovereignty and the king's role.
And it doesn't stop there. The training gets even more hands-on. In the section called The Sayings of the Wise, we move away from general principles and get these super specific, direct instructions. This is basically advanced training for anyone who's about to step into the halls of power. And it's incredibly practical. The curriculum gives 46 direct commands, and get this, 2/3 of them are prohibitions. They're warnings about what not to do. It's all about prepping the student for the real-world dangers that come with leadership.
So now our student has made it. They're inside the palace, and this is where they face the toughest lesson yet. This is like the final exam.
And yeah, this is the moment where that simple black and white world from the beginning, it just completely falls apart. The student is about to learn something that's, well, pretty unsettling.
And what's that lesson? That leaders are not perfect. Even the king. It's a huge realization. From a distance, these authority figures might seem all-powerful and wise, but up close, our student sees that, even they can be corrupted by power.
The book is brutally honest about this. It doesn't pull any punches. It warns that a wicked ruler is like a roaring lion or a charging bear. So it presents the king as someone who could totally abuse their power. It's a heavy dose of reality, but a crucial one for an aspiring leader. So, after going through all that, after seeing the dark side of power, our student is finally ready for the ultimate lesson. They're ready to understand what real wisdom actually looks like. First, they learn from this fascinating character, a foreign sage named Igor, and his lesson is profound. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you actually know. A genuine pursuit of knowledge doesn't lead to pride, it leads to humility. And then they're shown the ideal in King Lemuel. He shows that the peak of leadership isn't about raw power. Nope. It's about self-mastery, a deep commitment to justice, and being smart enough to listen to good advice.
And this is where it all comes together. The whole curriculum wraps up in this really beautiful, powerful way that brings us right back to where we started.
Remember how it all kicked off? The book opens with this foundational idea. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. That one line set the stage for everything that followed.
Yeah, that single theme acts like bookends for the whole educational journey. It's the beginning and it's the end.
And it concludes by showing us exactly what that principle looks like embodied in an ideal person. The very last chapter praises a woman who fears the Lord, bringing the entire lesson perfectly, beautifully full circle.
So, when you stop seeing Proverbs as just a jumble of quotes and start seeing it as this intentional curriculum, this roadmap from student to leader, it completely changes everything, doesn't it? It becomes a timeless guide for anyone aspiring to wisdom. And that makes you wonder, what can this ancient roadmap teach us today?